One place. One place. Okay, coming tomorrow afternoon, and we made a point, and they had to go over there and bring my samples, and everything else was fine. His final question was, "Are you a woman?" I said yes. My accent, everything else what I said didn't matter. He was ready to take a woman with a man with woman's voice, but after I said I'm a woman, oh, I have this fellow coming in. I promised the job to him.
Okay, well, let's get officially started. If you would just say who you are loud enough that it doesn't have to be real loud, but just
Margie Largent.
Okay.
I'm Lydia Balodis.
I'm Cindy Banky.
I'm Glynis Patterson.
I'm Mary Alice Hutchins.
I'm Candace Robertson.
Okay, well, back to this. What was that story about that you were just talking about?
That was
this
between
job
school years in Chicago.
in Chicago, and what year would that be?
My alma mater is IIT.
Yeah.
Like her. I come from the East.
So do I.
Oh, what year it was? It was sometimes in 50s, between school years. I was late in school
Okay.
since coming over from Europe and going back into
Yeah.
education. Okay, I called up this office. They had advertised for Summit Employment. And I had quite lengthy talk with the man who was at the other end. And then he said, bring your samples and come in, and gave me the date and hour and everything else. Okay, but his final word was, are you a woman? Then I said, yes. He said, oh, I have this fellow coming in. I had promised the job to him, and I don't think it's worthwhile that you are coming.
Yeah.
And it was in mid-50s.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you have heard the expression, as Lydia had, we don't hire women?
That
I
hasn't
have
come
heard
up.
that.
That has not come up. You haven't heard that? No?
Not at
I
all.
have heard that from Stanton Balls McGuire.
I've heard the dodges for it. I've heard that.
Not the exact
No,
words, we
they're-
don't hire women?
No, it's been illegal since we've been out of school.
It's illegal.
But that was 1950.
Must be getting better.
And I heard that.
Yeah.
They're sneakier now. It's the same thing, but they're sneakier about it. They're getting quite sophisticated in how sneaky they are. Sometimes it's really impressive.
Have you heard that a lot? Did you
I
hear that
did,
a lot?
in the 50s and 60s.
In 59, Stanton Balls McGuire. I went there. We don't, they even talked to me and everything else, a short interview. Then, we don't hire women. And in Chicago, I was told we don't have the facilities for women.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I threw away something. This is Margie speaking. I threw away something I should have kept. I applied to go to Caltech. When I went to Art Center School in LA for a couple of years, and I realized I need structural training, so I applied to Caltech. And I got this postcard back that said, we do not have facilities for training women.
You don't have to what?
Exactly.
Facilities for training women.
Exactly, I was told in Chicago that.
Yeah. What year was this? Mid-50s?
Well, that would have been in the 40s.
In the 40s. Uh-huh. Interesting.
Probably 46.
Huh. And Mary Alice, when was it you were going through education?
Let's see, I graduated around 41,
Okay. And where did you go to school?
University of Oregon. Of course, I didn't have any problem because I came into the workforce right at the time that the office boys were being drafted.
Uh-huh.
So there were office boy positions available.
Well, that's always nice.
But then, did you find that the attitude changed after the war was over? Did things change
Well,
significantly? Or?
I wasn't fired after the war. Because, well, of course, I stayed in the same place for 10 years, so that
Yeah.
I didn't have to bother with that.
Yeah. Do you think, either of you, that the war had anything to do with whether they would hire women or
I
not? Or
wasn't
whether,
here before the war.
I mean, just because after the war, the men were coming back and were all having their families and they had to work.
I had to wait to get into the University of Oregon because of the GIs coming back. And
Yeah.
that was fine. I had no problem with that. I went to Willamette for a year and a term while I waited. But I live in Salem and Willamette's a good school.
Oh, good.
Got my,
Yeah.
Were there other women in
I was
in
the
class?
only
You were the only
woman
one.
in the School of Architecture.
Were you the first in that
Not
school,
the
or
first. But she preceded me.
Yeah.
But I was the only woman when I was at the University of Oregon.
Oh, there was one other when I was there. Eva Wicks
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Brown
Yeah.
was there, and she was following Margaret. Well, I don't know what Margaret Fritsch was long out and practicing by that time.
Is she on our list?
she is there? I guess there's some sort of dispute about which one of them is actually the first licensed woman in Oregon. Isn't that the
It was
other?
Margaret Fritsch.
Well, yeah, but I guess this
There's no question in
is
that.
it. I
Yeah,
thought
there's
one
a
of them
number.
was licensed, and one of them, and this other woman actually practiced before that or something.
Well,
But
she
didn't-
probably
but
was,
didn't
and then
get
when
her
they had the
application.
licensing
Yeah.
law, why she was
Right.
licensed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there were architects practicing before the licensing law went in. But that had nothing to do with her being.
85, 86.
Oh,
You
that's.
don't get one of these every year, do you?
They don't.
No, I don't think so.
I haven't
don't
had
get
one
it
for a
out
long
From
time.
Washington, I get one from Alaska.
Yeah, that's
I may not get
AIA
this
roster.
year.
What
at
year
all
is
because
yours?
That's as old as mine is.
86.
must be the last one they put out.
I don't think they put them
I
out.
think they had one more. But I say I don't think I am
But mine-
going to get one this year.
Hmm.
I sent in my fee last week and that was
Might have
due
changed
July
color
1st. And if they don't license me, that's fine. I am not doing anything anyway. You know.
But you're so busy. What are you doing?
Well, has Margaret
Look
Fritz
at my
just,
hands.
uh,
These
been
are
with her
gardening?
license?
that too. And I have husband and dog. And I belong to many other activities and
Uh-huh.
clubs. And I'm taking workshops
Mm-hmm.
all the time, I can say. I'm going to Cannon Beach again, end of this month for Zoltan Zabel's workshop. And I was in last week in a workshop in Salem.
Hmm.
And well, you have to, if you come in the field that late. I always was interested in painting, you know.
Mm-hmm. So what was it you did at BPA? What?
At BPA,
Yeah.
oh, many things.
Yes.
I was hired as an engineering technician. It was hard time that time. Well, after I came from Chicago and experienced short private work here, I went to BPA. And I was hired as engineering technician and I was promoted to engineer in 3 months. And in 6 months, up. But they didn't let me go into architecture.
Mm.
And I was anxious at that time because I didn't need it real bad. I was not licensed and I didn't need the architectural experience besides what I had. And I worked in engineering about 5 years. I was designing steel towers. I have 8 towers on the lines, high voltage steel towers. Because my experience in Chicago with SOM was structural.
Oh, okay.
I was working in a structural department. And then I went into the architectural. The architectural, I was working on buildings. I have about 6 or 8 maintenance buildings.
And the dams and stuff?
No, that's mainly at substations.
Oh, okay.
Substations where
Yeah,
they have the yard.
Yeah.
Oh, you are familiar with that. Coming from.
Yeah.
But I'm not, there's nothing there to brag about because they are all utilitarian buildings.
Uh-huh.
The planning is like any other building. You have to be aware of the circulation of the utilization and this and that and how different areas are used. But BPA, like PVA, it's an engineering organization.
Yeah, I know.
And an engineer is the last one to sign on the sheet.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I can say about BPA, I was very well liked by personnel. I always had all these extra things, like one year I was Woman of the Year in the engineering for all book BPA.
What does woman? How do you become Woman of the Year?
They elect one from each organization. Not woman, I was an engineer for the year.
Oh, and you just happen to be a woman.
Yeah, I
Okay.
happened. I don't know how they elected. I was not there. I was asked for interview and I was told what this was also. And then the federal employees, they go all together and they select one in this year. I didn't get into that.
Oh well.
But I was locally
Well, that's nice.
into that, and like I showed you this little
Yeah, the
program,
brochure.
yeah. I didn't ask them to.
What organization you were Engineer of the Year of?
BPA, Bonneville Power Administration.
Bonneville Power.
Yeah.
Thank you.
1970 something, 74, 75, I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Have you been in their brand new building? Comparatively.
Yes, I have been. I didn't go with the AIA tour, but I went there to visit. I still have some friends, but it's like with AIA, less and less people are there.
Yeah.
with whom I
Do they
work.
enjoy working in that building?
They like. At least our people in the engineering, architecture is with the engineering. There were only 8 architects at the time when I was going into it. 1965, I became an architect from an engineer. And then
Which year?
65, 65. Yeah, I see the federal classification. You don't need a license to be called an engineer,
Right.
and that was
Or an architect, for that matter.
Yes, my boss was not licensed.
Uh-huh.
There were 3 of us registered, but not my boss.
Yeah. Did you do this substation at Division and 42nd?
No.
Okay.
Is that one that you
It's
have
near my house. I just
got
wondered.
awareness
You know, those smaller substations, they don't have maintenance buildings. The buildings I have worked on are at the larger substations only.
Oh, okay.
Like I have one at Snohomish,
Mm-hmm.
one at Sickler, that's Washington.
Okay.
Oh,
Is it noisy and unattractive?
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
No, it's
but she's
it's-
speaking of I
It's
don't know.
acceptable?
yeah, it's nice, but it's empty.
Oh,
I think
It isn't. There are man
no,
control
it's
houses and unmanned.
yeah. No, the one near my house is abandoned.
Is that the BPA substation or is that PGE or customer substation? There are
Probab-
customer substations.
Probably PGE.
Oh yeah, there are customer substations.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think BPA doesn't abandon substations unless they abandon the line. And
They don't abandon lines much, do they?
no, I haven't heard. Because the substation is usually on the line and there's
Yeah.
always sort of an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But the buildings that I was designing, they go only in the larger substations because maintenance building doesn't go with every substation.
Mhm.
There's a small control house and small substation and larger ones. And then I have building North Bend out to the coast and one in Chemawa. But I did see the Chemawa building. They are building something. I have gone by there and I can see that I think my building is in jeopardy
Uh-oh.
because they have their federal funds and they have to build and rebuild.
Yeah.
the reason I was asking about that building was that I belong to a slide AMI, Association Multi-Image Group.
Yeah.
And one of the group put together a slideshow to show people how they could find their offices in the building. And you go up so many floors and over so many aisles and down so many and from A to Z and numbers I just couldn't imagine.
They need that in order to understand it.
They needed that to find where their offices were. And so they're just evidently cubbyhole after cubbyhole.
Yeah.
And depending upon your level in the building, whether you got a bulletin board or whether you didn't, and so how many.
This is BPA?
This
Present
is Bonneville,
government
yes.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Federal building.
how many bookcases you got, and
Right.
a desk, and
Right. Yeah, my husband's address had 8 digits in it at his office when he was working there at BPA.
But then I think there is certain logical organization how to find those routes for information. But as for building, I can say I think it's flexible plan. You can change the partitions like elsewhere where the partitions are not permanent. But speaking of buildings, then go to the Portland building and find something.
It's awful pale milk.
did-
I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Did any
Thank
of you read that article in the Architecture magazine maybe a
Yes.
year ago on wayfinding?
Oh yes.
No.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the University of Oregon Medical Hospital.
What
Oh,
did the article say? And I didn't read it.
There's a whole system or method or technology on wayfinding.
Yeah.
Oh, there's probably software too. You just plug it in and it comes out on CAD.
You are right.
What
I
kind of
get
work did you do?
confused whenever
Mary
I go
Alice?
there. I get confused.
What kind of work did you do?
I wrote specifications mostly.
For what
That
firms
was
in
my
Portland?
special. I worked for a firm, till 51, and then I freelanced, and then I went to Hawaii and worked for a firm. And I was doing specs each time.
Uh-huh.
And then I freelanced in Hawaii, and then I retired.
Why don't you mention some names? Is there something wrong with saying you work for Belushi or you
No,
work for...
no. No, I have
That's
no
very
objection.
famous.
Is that who you worked for in town?
Yes, I started out with him as an office boy
Uh-huh.
and worked there for 10 years. So
Yeah. Do you feel like you
It's a
were forced
generic
into
title.
specification writing, or was that something you
no,
wanted
that
to do?
was the material and the way things were put together was my particular interest.
Okay.
You don't
Yes,
think
I
it,
wasn't forced into it because I was a woman. No.
Okay. Just curious.
Well, I was wondering if in school somehow they would, I don't know, give you the opportunity to be more exposed to that kind of thing in school. You know, in other words, have classes that are maybe geared more specifically
Well-
towards women, or
No, our professor was Wilcox at the University of Oregon, and he was against any classes, say, in developing, tracing, drawings, and so forth, and well, to a certain extent, so that you knew what it looked like, or things that sort of the trade things. He said, after all, we're not giving you a cheap workman. We're providing you with someone with
Yes.
design and I guess the finer things of life, as it were.
No, they were still running that same saw when I went to school and turning out people that came to Portland and couldn't get jobs.
Yes, because they couldn't.
too design oriented. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Didn't know
you
the size
would
of a
come-
2x4.
Yeah,
Yes.
you would come away from the University of Oregon with your degree in your hot little hand and wander into an architectural office in Portland that had all the partners with University of Oregon degrees on the wall. There'd maybe be 3 or 4 or 5 of them, and they'd all say University of Oregon. And then when they interviewed you, they'd say, and what school did you go to? And you say, University of Oregon. And they'd say, end of interview, we do not hire University of Oregon graduates.
Oh, I've never heard that one.
I've heard that one repeatedly.
Isn't that a
I've heard that one
yeah.
at Bora.
Yeah.
I've heard that one at, a firm in Wilsonville that did actually hire me, but they ruffled about it, and then shortly thereafter they fired me. But that firm has kind of disintegrated since, and I heard that in 1 or 2 other places also, and I can't remember because I've wandered around.
Well, do you think they'd
So
use
many.
that no matter where you graduated? If you said, I've graduated from the University of Wisconsin, they'd probably say, we don't hire people from the University
It occurred
It's
to me that
possible.
might have been a dodge,
Uh-huh.
a way of
of
not
Jupiter.
hiring a woman. But on the other hand, I've heard that from other fellows that went through the University of Oregon and have had been edged out on a job from a University of Washington graduate.
Well, if they want to dodge it, there's no
Yeah,
way you
they-
can
yeah.
prevent it, I don't think.
Well, Will Martin, who was really an interesting character, his degree was from the University of Oregon, and he and his office, they did hire me. I did work for them for a while, but mostly they favored hiring when they had a chance. University of Washington people or University of Cincinnati. They hired
Yeah.
2 or 3 of those. And if they had a choice between a U of O graduate and a graduate from somewhere else, particularly from Washington, they'd snap up the Washington person just like that.
Yeah. Cincinnati
So-
had a real good school, I think, that, you know, just because they balanced out the
So
design.
there were other factors that could edge you out, and you were never quite sure. Now, is it because they don't want a woman around, or because of this, that, or the other thing?
Speaking of this factor that school doesn't prepare you for the practical office work, I think you can all admit that it's true. You don't learn in school what you do in the office.
That's
No.
true.
But, yes,
Very true.
but it's very understandable. You go to the office and you learn all these practical things because you have all the background, you have the theoretical background, and you know where to search and how to
Mhm.
and how to achieve. I don't know if I got only, by example, structural. I went to a school, it was very strict. Caldwell was such a structural monster. Details through here, details through there, details through there, details through there. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, full scale. And don't look up any material.
This is
And-
Mises' influence, right?
Mies was the head of the school.
Right.
And Caldwell was
Right. And
the
he-
construction.
Well, he wrote a bunch of books too, didn't he, Caldwell?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I had his
He's still
structural
practicing,
book.
I think, somewhere, Alfred Caldwell.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And you know, if you did not get this done, you got an incomplete. Next year. I know there were many boys. I never had an incomplete. But I have had experiences what we did. First, I entered the 3rd year at school. The first thing he said, because I had quite a bit from Europe and from all 5 years of college, I got 2 years credit. Anyway, he took my registration. He said, "You don't belong here. Why don't you start from the very beginning?" Okay. He didn't take my slip. We had to give the registration slip to the teacher. I was officially registered by the office. I came to the classes, and I always did see him. Come. He called the boys out. There were only 2 girls. There was a Jewish girl from Mexico and myself in the class. And there were 32 fellows. Come out. And then he went out with somebody. I didn't know what was going on. I just noticed it. One day he came. Come out. I went out with him. He said, "Everything you do is wrong. Everything you do is wrong." My lip started to quiver, and I went upstairs to the girls' room and left him in the corridor. I came back. We had all day the drafting board. Came back in the afternoon, started working again. He came to me. "This is the way you have to do." I got the same old sheep. You are much better when you do. He was simply trying to squeeze you out.
Oh.
Did when you were in school, did you guys find that you had to like go be in your dorms or anything, and the men could continue to work? I heard at a couple of schools, at my school, that used to be the situation where the women couldn't have cars on campus and the guys could. The women had to
Live
be
off
in
campus.
yeah, and also particularly in studio where you couldn't. The women had to leave the camp. I don't know, at like 11 o'clock or something. They had
Yeah,
to
curfew be in. Yeah.
right, and the guys could just continue working all night. Was that true where you were? Did that happen?
I lived off campus, and I was called into the Dean of Women's office and interviewed, and she was going to write my parents, and did, in fact. And my mother, God bless her, wrote back and said, "Well, she is 21, and better she can do as she pleases."
Well, I can understand if you're living in a dorm that we had to be in by midnight.
The men and the women, or just the
Well,
women?
the women.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know. I don't think the men's dorm had any requirement.
No.
I never lived in them.
Well, it's nice to be protected.
A little bit, but I don't know. There are issues.
I can protect myself.
Yeah, the first year I was in college, we still had a curfew, but by the second year, it had been after the late '60s uprisings enough that they had actually changed the rules so that we could live off campus and we could stay out all night if we wanted. So by sophomore year, I was free.
Where was this?
Cincinnati. Yeah.
And was the drafting room at the architectural school open all night? Or?
Yeah, the school was open, but of course the
I
women's
worked there
bathroom was on a
almost
different
every
floor.
morning.
It depends much about the location of the school too.
Yeah.
Like IIT
Yeah, that's-
was in
yeah.
Chicago South Side. We wouldn't dare to go out there
No.
when it was dark.
Yeah.
Not even in the 50s. I don't know how it's today, but
No better, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'd like to know what are you going to, or what are you after in this meeting? What are we here after?
that was one of my
Like an
questions too.
introduction, just to get started, and maybe just like a roundtable talk. And what we're hoping is later on to be able to interview each of you alone and go through a specific list of questions, and maybe see if we could assemble material for the display that we're going to put
Yeah.
together.
Yes,
Get
but
more
then-
detail later on. So we were hoping that this was just like a start. And
Yeah.
that
What's the goal? What's the end product you see into this?
There's
What-
two end products that we've envisioned. One is to archive and do biographies of,
all of
you
the
women.
women on the list.
because there are no statistics on women in architecture previous to 1980 even. And in order to get funding for things, we need to show that A, there were no women
Oh.
to begin with, B, they had problems, C,
Oh.
all this stuff. So we're doing history here first. We're being historians. Second of all, we would like to,
Yeah,
yes, you are historical now.
Hysterical.
Hysterical, whatever.
We've been little of those.
And also in the exhibit, we would like to show the best of the work from everyone that we see and talk to show that work has been going on by women for a long time, even if nobody knows about it. And that education of the public, encouraging younger women to become architects, to get into the field, to realize that they are not the ones that are going to have to break down the barriers. That
Oh,
this
they're
is-
already broken down.
Oh yeah, yeah, all of them. We still get equal pay now too, don't we?
But you cannot win. At that time, when we were out there, there were barriers and we were fighting. Nowadays, you get into the field and they say, oh yes, you are there only because you are a woman.
Yeah.
Well, there is that, but I
Yes, but-
think the statistics are important, and the statistics will show that, oh, we're only here because we're a woman. Because why? I mean, how many
Yes,
of us
but-
are there? Are we really being a threat?
The thing is that all these evaluations are based upon the minority and women trend these days. And okay, because you are a woman, you just get the.
Mm. Right. Well, I think there are
You can-
forces in
you
government
can-
that are going against that at this point. So.
Oh.
Sending affirmative action down the tubes and all. But
I said in government I haven't experienced much bad thing. Yes, from the people sitting next to me, yes, yes. Always something like pushing you down, but not from the personal and the people that feel
Yeah.
tired.
I know Marge fairly well, a little bit, but I don't really know you. And this is the first time I've ever met you. I've met Mary Alice once before at a committee meeting for the library, the construction library.
Oh, yes,
once.
that was, well,
So I don't really know. You went to the University of Oregon, started in 1941.
I graduated
Well,
around 41.
That's when you graduated. Other than that, I don't know.
That's enough.
Well,
It
that's
is
just
not.
a
And
start.
were you married?
That's just
In
a
this book I'm
start.
going to leave with you is
Oh,
a sheet
good.
on Mary Alice.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
Well,
We've got you a little bit
Oh,
documented
you've got
here.
that?
Oh,
I
it's
don't
just-
even have that.
Well, I'm sure glad I saved that one.
Oh,
This is the
well-
interview with
well,
Hannah
I tell
Jane,
you-
who did the,
Oh,
and I
that's
gave
what-
the tape to.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll put it back
tape
in the book. I'm gonna
You
leave it
must
with
be the
Hannah.
official historian of this.
No, I'm not.
She's,
I just
Okay.
put this together last week.
yeah.
Thank
Oh.
you.
she got nudged. Somebody, a friend called her and
The
nudged her.
presentation.
Well, I couldn't find it, but a friend of mine sent me a clipping from the Honolulu paper from way back. So I'll have to find that.
Please do. Mary
Alright.
Alice is so
Well,
Humble?
exactly
What?
Are you humble?
humble.
I doubt it.
Unbelievable.
You can't get through this profession and really be humble.
Very
That's a
humble.
big one.
Well, if it'll help, well, that's fine. But otherwise, why?
It will help. She wrote specifications for the Hawaii State Capitol.
Well,
Yes, I
Only
did
to
until
have them redone by some male.
I got fired. Yeah.
Yeah. But she did them in the CSI format, which was the very first. right?
Wouldn't that have been? That would have been so
And they
nifty.
were thrown
And
out.
I
very
guess
first what?
Very first CSI spec in
Oh
Hawaii.
wow.
Oh,
She was a pioneer. She's one of the very first members of the Construction Specifications Institute. I think she just doesn't say anything.
well, keep goading her. It's okay.
I may have to write a history of Mary Alice.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll
But she
keep.
is a pioneer.
Yeah.
I won't speak up.
My grandmother was like that. She hated talking about herself, but she was the first draftswoman for the patent office in Toledo, and she did all the patent drawings for the Toledo scales. And that was
So you have
the
everything in the
scales?
family.
yes, the scales.
Exciting.
We have the originals at our
Oh,
house.
fantastic.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, and that was back 1918, 1919.
Well, that's
1920.
what. Were they ink on?
Yeah, I have her inking pen.
Oh,
The old-fashioned one, you know.
Yes. So yes. Oh,
I tried it once. It was an adventure.
yes. Well, no. That was exciting to be able to use that.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of women, don't.
Especially with a compass.
I bet that was exciting.
All of a sudden you got to drop out of that.
Oh, pain.
I think when I first started working for Storm Webster in Boston, they were still doing ink drawings.
Uh huh.
Fortunately, I didn't have to. Maybe if I were working on a drawing that was inked, I'd have to do ink. But
Right.
otherwise,
But by that time, you weren't using a pen like that, were you?
no.
What did they call those? There was a name for them, wasn't there?
Just an ink pen, as far as I know.
Well, not the rapidographs. The like it's a speedball almost. Kind of.
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking of
using
the
Rapidiograph.
The rapidographs are so
knife shape.
Yeah, it was a knife-shaped one. It just
Yeah,
a
I
two
didn't-
pieces of metal with a
Oh,
screw on it.
Like a calligraphy pen, but
No,
with a different
no, no.
nub on it,
Kind of.
like a fountain
Like a
pen.
clamshell.
Like a clamshell.
like
just
a-
one,
just looks like that with a
They
little
were
screw here, and
beautiful, just
it just
beautiful.
capillary action only. You'd
Yeah.
stick it in the ink
Yeah.
thing, and you wipe off the outside, and then you,
You don't
draw.
stick
and-
it in. Then
You
it's
don't
all
stick
of
it-
it. You take
Oh,
and,
you drop
and
it.
fill it.
That's
yeah.
right.
Otherwise, the
You're
side
right,
is wet,
right.
and you go.
Oh,
Like a
Along
big blob.
hey, well, I never used it much. I'm sorry.
Too much and you get a glob, right?
Yeah.
I think it really is important to for us to record what you have to share with us, because even I just graduated from school, and you think that things are, all the barriers are down, and they are. I mean, I don't come across prejudiced or anything, but the fact of the matter is there still aren't a lot of women in the profession. I mean, I'm accepted as an equal, I would think, but we don't have anybody to look up to. I mean, even in my college, there were maybe 2 women professors, and they weren't in the position of, the head designer, and they're still in secondary positions because they have families and they can't have full-time, or these particular women didn't have full-time jobs. So, it is really important to make other people aware of all the women that really are in the field. It's just, we just don't come in contact with them enough, because they're usually doing so many different things that
Yes,
that we
that's true.
somehow lose track of it. But I think for that reason alone, it's important to at least record it. So even if for some reason we didn't get involved to build this exhibit, to record it down so we can share it with other people is really important.
There's a group of lawyers that put together a great big exhibit called Pioneering Women Lawyers, and they put together a little newsletter, and somewhere in the newsletter it made the comment that for a long, long time, even when there were actually quite a few women lawyers, they were invisible to each other, and that was a real detriment. And when they finally started making an active effort to find each other and find out what one another was doing, it made a big difference to all of them, and especially to the younger ones. And I think that very much is the problem that we have, is that actually there's a fair number of us, a surprising number of us, who were invisible to each other. For a long time, March was the only other woman architect that I knew that was ahead of me. I mean, I did know other women that were in architecture, but they were all younger than me. And you were it as far as somebody that I could say, well, she's done it, so,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Oh, there was one other one, but I didn't have hardly any contact with her, but a little bit, Nina Kemp's down in Clarence Falls.
Yeah.
But this invisibility to each other is, I think, what we're trying to get past, so that
Where are you working now?
I'm doing what you used to do. I'm an independent specification consultant.
Is that so?
Yeah, and I've got my own office. It's in a state of construction with more sawdust than completed anything all around it, but it's down in northwest
And
Portland.
do you use the CSI format?
You bet I do.
Or do you use the AIA format?
Well, I use the CSI format, and I don't much care for the AIA.
What's that master spec?
Well, the format, the actual format is the same for both, but both of the two organizations have produced a specification master that they sell.
Yeah, which
And
one do
that's-
you use?
Well, I favor the CSI one, but I don't actually technically use either one of them, because as a consultant, that puts me in the position of reselling a thing that is licensed to only one person at a time. The most that I can do is recommend to my clients that they buy the CSI spec text. I can't have it in my office and use it for somebody else's project, because that makes me reselling it, and that's against the licensing agreement.
Well, that's the computer version, isn't it?
It's copyright. It doesn't matter if it's paper or computer, but it's spec text and master spec text is CSI, master spec is AIA, and they're
You mean you can't Xerox one of their pages and use it?
it's copyright. All that stuff's copyright. It's got copyright at the bottom of every single page, and you can't do that. However,
Gee,
You can cut and paste.
you can cut and paste like mad. You can borrow things. You can lift whole
Yes,
sentences
that's-
and turn them upside down and flop them around. I do that all the time. But I have never actually purchased the CSI spec text, because they make you sign a licensing agreement that says you will not resell it.
would you like to have me give you the AIA one from about X number of years ago? It's upstairs, taking
Well,
space.
The thing that Lee Kilborn has said, and he's probably right, is that the ideal situation is to buy both the spec text and the master spec, sit them both on your shelf, and not use either one of them. Borrow bits and pieces from both.
Just use them as
We
a
have just used it as a reference.
Use
Well,
them
that's
as a
what I
reference.
thought it was, because
That's what
they
I
get
do.
so verbose that,
Oh, it's like if they're like a novel, and they shouldn't be that way.
of course, I
But
think,
anyhow, I'm copying you. I'm doing what you used to do.
oh, well, that's great. Well, more power to you. I hope you enjoy it.
Actually, I do, because that thing allows me to dip a paw into every aspect of a lot of big projects.
Right.
And it's the only way that right now I can get anywhere near a big project, and also be able to sample the thing from start to finish.
That's right. And you don't have to spend the time making all the drawings, so,
I like to draw. I
but it does take time.
Yeah, you can't do everything, and this allows you the overview, which is nice. But,
Did you ever get involved in arbitration or
contracts?
Yeah, well, because you were writing specs for people, I was wondering if you ever got involved in actually some sort of litigation where you would be arbitrating. I know a lot of people that I know that spec write are involved in arbitration.
Well,
now
that's more or
because-
less why I sort of bowed out, because as far as I was concerned, I would be writing under the aegis of whomever I'm writing for, and whatever they want, they get.
Uh-huh. Well,
mean,
that's
if
what I
they
meant
want
by
this product
arbitration, not
versus
necessarily
that
being
product.
legally
So-
bound to what you're writing, but being the one who interprets other people's specs or interprets
But these all the
or interprets things that are contractors
Is that
to use.
my phone?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
I noticed you weren't there.
No. I
Mark,
was still with BPA at that time, and
Well, I just since you contacted me, I've gone
You've
through
got
this
all
book,
these, you're the best source.
and I
got all these
observed
wonderful
an
documents.
interesting thing. I was comparing it with the last printout of the roster of architects in Oregon.
Okay, and
with
then this is the
with
West
the women
Coast
who attended this convention in
West Coast Women's Design
74.
Conference in 1974. Okay.
And there might have been one or two women that attended who have now become registered,
Ah,
maybe 10 years later. But the interesting thing I discovered, there were many more men who attended this conference who are now registered architects.
Huh.
John Barker and people of such ilk. And I don't have a later directory, so I imagine there have been. It took me 10 years to get my license
why?
because people didn't hire women.
What is
Okay,
this one?
just because you couldn't get the
I couldn't get
experience.
the qualification.
What's this?
That
It's gonna
was
take
the-
me 10 years, I think. I just started going through all the rigmarole that you have to do now to get registered, and it's gonna take me I think 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, the last person I worked for was at least, in order to qualify, was at least, it took me 10 years.
Huh.
Is that did you just need a certain amount of hours in an office then? Is that so you
With
couldn't
an
even
architect. See, I worked
Yeah.
with John
4 years.
Webster Engineering Corporation for
Uh-huh.
years. That, certain 1 year of that counted, I think.
They had it.
And I worked in Carmel with a designer who was unlicensed, but very good, for several years, and that didn't count at all.
Mhm.
And as I knocked on doors from time to time, including John Carl Warnicki, who didn't hire women, I just didn't make any progress, and it took me 10 years to get enough accumulated time to apply for my exam.
Oh, I never had that.
I had that. And that was exactly at BPA while I was working in the structural engineering. I couldn't submit that time.
Mhm.
I'm surprised that you could work for an engineer and not have any problems, but not work for an architect. To me, it seems like maybe architecture, being perceived as a more liberal, more art-oriented thing, would be more willing to accept women before engineers, which is a more male-dominated thing. That's my perception of
I
it, but
work
obviously
for-
that's not true.
I worked for engineers.
Well, you're
for a
allowed
while.
to work for several years for an engineer
Yeah.
that works toward
Not
the-
now.
But it's
Half- you
easier
get
to
half
be
credit.
hired by an engineer than an architect.
think so.
That
Yes.
was the point she was making.
Engineers were more apt to hire women.
Yeah.
So you get part of your time that way.
My own little theory on this is that because engineering is so much more of a calculation thing, that it's
Logical.
it appears to be more objective than architecture. Whether it really is or not is another question. But because architecture is so subjective and arty that,
But for that reason, I
that
think
for
women
that
would
reason,
be involved.
well, except that the perception of irrational women, you wouldn't want irrational women around a non-logical thing, would you? I don't know. My own theory. Never mind.
Let me tell you about the gum-chewing paper wad
Oh, I know.
with the man.
Yes.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. I learned how to shoot a rubber band at TBA.
But the first one I saw was in Boston in the engineering department at Stony Brook.
What are you talking about?
You know how to shoot rubber bands so that they go about 40 feet?
Spit wads, rubber bands.
do you
we
care?
were into more violent things than that when I was in college, like throwing people over the edges of buildings.
That's
or
college. This is an engineer's office,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
where you
This
learn
is
engineering
on the job.
principles, like how to make the rubber band really work good.
Oh,
How to
I
make
see.
the paper airplane a
escapes
deadly
me
weapon.
Yes.
engineering principles.
how women are a distracting force in the office.
Ah,
You get it?
yeah, okay.
Especially if they can shoot the longest football.
Well, I didn't shoot them, but they were going around me all the time, these boys.
Yes.
And I didn't
Youngest
instigate
born.
it.
No,
They've been doing it for years.
they still are. I think that's part of, letting off steam.
But my very first engineer employer was an engineer from Storm Webster in Boston, but it was for a steam plant in Long Beach Harbor. And he said the reason he hired me was that I had worked my way through school, and anybody who would do that, he wanted on his crew.
Well, he was smart.
Yes, he's very smart. I find engineers to be very perceptive.
Right.
I didn't threaten his crew. I was an addition.
Yeah.
When the job ended, he said, anytime you need a job, you have one in Boston. I said, well, thanks a lot, Mr. Kerr, but I need to work on the West Coast. That's my home. But as I knocked on doors and
Start
they
thinking more
didn't
about
hire
Boston.
women, I finally called him, asked him if that job was still open. He said, if you can be here Monday, you can go to work. So I flew to Boston and worked there a couple of years.
Mm,
But it didn't count in my apprenticeship time.
right, because he was an engineer. Yeah.
What women find now as a problem is that the way you become licensed now, you have to have a certain amount of hours doing a certain task. You have to have 40% of your time has to be spent doing construction drawings, 20% doing schematic, and one of the categories is construction observation, which means you have to be
Field work.
on the site, which
That'll be.
is a
That'll
new
be the
it's a
day.
new kind of stumbling block for women.
Yeah.
Not we can get hired, but we're not the ones that are going to be sent out to check out.
Send a job.
Well, I
Yeah.
know. I mean, you
Well,
wouldn't know what you were looking at, right?
What you do is,
You really
is
shot.
It makes the
You take the
neighbors
outdoor
feel they
man.
get you out of-
out to lunch and go with him after work, after lunch.
But that
Are you
doesn't
registered
count.
now?
No, I just graduated. I haven't probably about 3 years until
Well,
I
we'll
get
hold
licensed.
your hand.
Well, actually, the office that I'm working at has been very good about it, and I'm already spending a lot of time on site. But I think it's an exception. I think most of the women that are my age anticipate having a lot of problems getting those last few hours in, and it's hard because it's not just 3 years anymore or whatever amount of time. It's you have to do construction observation. You have to do
How about contracts? Don't you have to work on some
you
of
have
that
to get
too?
involved in the contracts. You have office procedures that you have to do a certain amount of hours,
You
like
could be
80 hours.
secretary.
Yeah, but I was thinking
Well,
that
nobody's
might
going to keep you from reading that contract. I mean, that's...
right, exactly. I mean, there are ways around it. It's just that that's
And
new.
after you leave, after you go home at night, while you walk past the job, and you observe it, and you ask your boss various questions about it and so forth, and I'm sure that, well, I don't know,
But
but
unless
I would
he
think he would
says
say,
that
well,
you
well,
were-
that's just great. If you have that, you have made those observations, that should work for time for doing that, even though he didn't pay you for it. Of course, I'm
But
asking,
he'd have to write a letter that said he had.
you what?
He would have to confirm it.
All he
Certify
has to
it.
do is sign off.
You
if he knows
yeah
you
you
did it.
they give you charts that you fill out, and it's on a 4-month period. And actually, I need you to sign some. But
Somebody has to sign it.
yeah, you have to get 2 people to sign it. One person who is in your office, they're your sponsor, and then another person outside of your office who's your advisor. And so Cindy's my advisor, and then one of my bosses will be my sponsor. So you don't, depending on how involved they want to become in your process, they can just sign it, if they
Of
want
course,
to.
if you're that interested, well, I should think they'd be thrilled to death.
Yeah, I personally, as I say, I personally haven't found it to be a problem, but I hear that that's sort of a new, it's just coming back to a new problem, even though women are in the field now, especially in larger firms, not so much in small firms, but in a large established firm like ZGF that has enormous amounts of people in it. They just have lots of men around, and they're not sending the women out to the field just because the women are, whatever, we're dressed in high heels or not high heels, who wears high heels, but
In dresses.
in dresses or
Yeah.
just whatever reason.
The
It's
guys
just,
don't. The guys don't want the women out there. I have always had to really press to go out on a job site. I mean, I practically had to demand it, and I still do. I still, if I want to go out on a job site, I go up to the person involved and just announce to them, I'm going out on your job site with you today. And I've had more than one of them say, oh no, you're not. Oh no, you're not. You know, and I say, okay, how about tomorrow? And then they know they're really in a box.
I was going to say the examination itself is much more logical nowadays. The national board has prepared the examinations. Remember when we went for 50 points for, draw a floor plan of Sister Capella.
Of what?
Sister Capella. Some church. Yeah.
Oh, draw the floor plan of the
But you
church.
had to actually remember it?
50 points. 50 points in your examination, 100 total.
Was this in Oregon?
Yeah, when you went, now I say just as an example, when you went, wasn't that so?
Probably.
And 50 points for a mechanical system for a plant such and such, and you have to pass your mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
You need at least 75 points. If you don't know that one question, you remember how it was. 50-point question, 30-point question, 10-point question, and 2 5 points. That's how it was.
You were in on the grandmother clause, right?
For what?
For the architects. Did you take the exam?
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay.
Oh, yes,
Then
I
was
did.
Brad-
I flunked design,
Yay!
so I had to go
Another
at it
one.
a
That's
second
always
time.
a good sign.
This is mechanical, and history was almost impossible if you missed one of those points. That
Well, you're allowed to take it 3 times here
yes,
at each one, and I have some friends that just barely made it under the wire on the 3rd one. I had to redo
didn't.
design, but I got the others.
When did you take it?
did you have to go up again?
My
When-
story is so
when
sad
was,
it may take an hour.
I took the
You talk next
structural exam when peace broke out in the Pacific. When was that?
46, 47,
45.
45. Okay.
Yeah, Americans went over
VJ, after VJ Day, wasn't
That
it
was
45?
BJ Day. Yes. That night, peace broke out just as we finished the structural design.
Woo! What a way to celebrate.
What a way to celebrate.
So I'm glad to know what year it was. Thank you.
Yeah, I have an affinity with war holidays because my birthday is a war holiday.
Oh, how nice.
The invasion of Normandy.
Ooh. Sort of a
7th
lesser
of
known war
June.
holiday.
6th of June.
Oh,
The invasion of Normandy is my birthday. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
oh.
Was it that year?
no, it was
That's good.
a couple years later.
We went on the Normandy coast last spring, and it's just overpowering. And of course, the only things that we have left are these acres of cemeteries and monuments and these terrible cliffs and things that they managed. How they managed to land, it's boggles the imagination.
One thing that has interested me is the various people that we have worked for. There's a lot of horror stories, but there's a few really good stories. And one of the men that I worked for was Ralph Appelman. Do you know Ralph? He was
Oh
one of
yes,
the
I know
founding
Ralph Appelman.
CSI people. Yeah. And he's really a wonderful character. One of the things that he did early on in his career was he was part of the engineers at the Normandy invasion, and he helped sink the
Well, the boats,
ships that made the wharf.
the causeway, yeah.
Yeah, that made the causeway, and that was their job. They go put in place these ships that were not very seaworthy anyhow. They had them from all over the place,
Yes, there
big
was
ones and little ones, and they lined them up where they wanted them to be, and then they put explosive charges in them, time it, and tell everybody to get off the boat. And it was a mad scramble, and he was one of those that was scrambling off the boat 2 seconds before they blow it up to sink it, to make the causeway.
Yes, well, they didn't have any way to get in at all, you see, and no inlets, and that they had to make their landing things.
Well, I was fascinated with his stories of sinking those boats.
Well, Ralph Appelman was the head draftsman on Edmondson's lift slab for Wilson High School. And then at that time, it used to be all the cabinet work was done, I guess you call it, in situ. And he developed it. He worked for, what was that cabinet company at first? But anyway, all of the cabinet work was done in the shop and then brought in and adjusted so forth. And by the time the bids came in, they were so low, the poor man lost his shirt on it, you see, a percentage of the cost of the school. But,
He is really careful craftsman, and oftentimes does too good of a
he
job.
won the
for
Bell
his-
Book and Candle, you know, with his he laughed, they called it a maquette. He said, a maquette, this is the real thing. It was a tulip table and the chairs to go
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, and they're in. There are copies of the table and the chairs in the Museum of Modern Art.
In New York?
Is that right? Well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
At Knockdown. Ralph Appelman was one of the early people that hired me.
You
And
didn't know
amongst the many things that he
You didn't know
did,
that?
little of this, little of that, and little of the other thing, was he
you
designed
know
some
that?
knockdown furniture. It was just exquisitely simple, just made out of really high-grade particle board.
Yeah, right.
And it's slipped together joint
Lotus shape, yes.
and lotus-shaped kind of stuff, and slip notch joints. Just so simple, you just couldn't believe it. You think
I didn't realize it was
you
not.
think it was
Would you
generic
read something about
furniture? I'm sure there are articles about it because this has been a long time ago. That he had this furniture.
The Women's Architectural League did that, Bell Book and Candle, or Bell Book and whatever it was.
What is that? Bell Book?
Well,
what
it was lighting fixtures and tables and chairs.
Oh, the table, lamp, and chair show?
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Okay.
Table, lamp, and- There is a difference. Well, three things.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
table,
got it.
lamp, and chair. That's the one I'm trying to
Oh,
think
yeah.
of. And he won.
One for that.
He won the
I
the
thought
first
somebody-
one they had
I
down
see.
at Montgomery Park.
So that was like 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago?
Oh, with this furniture that we're talking about is from the 1950s.
But the first table,
Yes, but-
lamp, and chair was just a few years ago, wasn't
Yes.
it?
Yes, but this furniture that he designed was
Right.
way back in the 50s. This thing already has been
Right.
a copy of this set is in the Museum of Modern Art.
Hey.
I didn't realize that. I just saw he won an award at that first. Thank you, table, lamp, and chair.
Okay.
Anyhow, he was really a good mentor, and he seemed delighted to help a young woman architect at that time along. And I'm sure that there are a number of men who've been very good that way, as well as the ones that have been standing in the way. My experience has been that it was the older men who were good, and the younger ones who were really difficult.
That blows my theory.
I've always had my best luck with the men that were old enough to be either my father or my grandfather.
I
The
have had
ones
that.
that were anywhere close to my age were just unhappy with my presence.
Mm.
Well, I would think that they
Too
would
much
be so
competition.
happy to have you take the onus of writing those specs.
I found that does improve my
Yes.
credibility.
But that's the thing.
They don't like that stuff. They don't understand
I
that
know, and they
actually
just
there's
rather have
something good in
somebody
it.
else do it.
Yeah.
So
They're happy to get rid of that task, and they don't realize the benefits in it. And
I
I
thought maybe the younger men were better because I've raised two boys to be better.
I'm doing that too.
I wanted girls because I thought I could make their life more,
Equal?
yeah,
Easier.
and I had boys instead, so I figured, well, she meant me to raise these boys to be more
Yeah.
considerate of,
Sensitive, yeah.
more sensitive.
Ganda
They
your
are.
shame.
Why not?
That's where they go
He,
bird.
she.
What? That's where they go bird lately.
Yeah, Marge, you said that your story of getting your license and all was one to cry over? Wanna
Right,
tell us
I'm
about
not
it?
sure I'm up to it.
Oh. Okay. You want to tell us something else about what you've been doing over the years?
But
Well,
I
see,
did
Margie's a
find
real architect. She does the whole thing.
I don't write specifications.
You can hire Candace.
I point a lot.
She's been president of the CSI, the Construction Specifications Institute.
Twice.
A lot. Yeah, but you've been so
What's
deeply
John
involved
Crook
with it
doing
so
then?
long.
She's the one
I
that
don't
keeps the
see him.
CSI alive.
I worked
No,
with him.
no, that's not true. But I found 5 more women architects, like
Great.
Delu Reynolds. You know Delu Reynolds from Eugene.
No.
Delu Reynolds. Nina Pants, we didn't have her on here, did we? No. Edith Yang and Corvallis, and
That's the one you were trying to think of.
yeah, I found her on the list.
So how many are there in
Jean
Oregon?
Spear and Judy Crutcher. Judy Crutcher was number 14 on
Oh,
She precedes Mid Barber.
Is she around? Is she around?
She's down Mill Valley.
Isn't
In
she a
Mill
younger
Valley.
one?
She's younger, but she
Well, is
got
this
her
Lou-
license before
Is
Mid
Lou?
Barber,
Is this
so-
Lou Crusher's present wife?
If they're still married.
Well, but he. No,
We can
but
have
he.
gossip on here too.
I don't mean that gossip.
I didn't know whether this was his wife number one that he abandoned in Portland, or whether.
No, this is the number 2.
The one I remember him having
I
that was
see.
younger.
And she's from Salem, my hometown, and her father was the superintendent of Salem High when I attended Salem High.
Oh, I
So
see. Well,
Judy and I go way back.
I see.
She's not as young as she's younger than I, but she's not.
I don't think I ever
Do you,
met her.
I
do you
think
have an
she
address
fits
for
in.
her? Or phone number or anything?
I am.
Eventually, not right now, but
Eventually,
yeah,
I think I'll
okay.
get one. But she's an Oregonian.
Okay.
She's one of us.
So after you came back from Boston, when was that?
50, 51, something. Then I went to Carmel and worked as designer.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of projects did you do with the designer?
Oh, posh housing in Pebble Beach.
How nice. The golf
Exactly.
courses?
I was back on the golf course. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was back to a conference in Asilomar, the Bi-Region Conference, a couple of 3 years ago, and we went to knock on the door of a house that I had done when I was working for John Koningshofer. And the original owner came to the door.
My
I
goodness.
assumed that it would have been new owners or something. I would say, do you mind if I take a picture of
Right.
the house? And it's a round house, or round, overlooks the not Pebble Beach, but some mile golf course.
Was the
That
round
is, that is
idea
Pebble
yours?
Beach, isn't it? Or
Yeah,
no?
there are several golf courses up
Was the
there.
roundhouse idea yours?
I don't remember.
So
Team
what did the
process.
owner say?
She invited us in and we had breakfast. She remembered me.
Oh, nice.
Great.
Her husband had died, but she was, I think, from Chicago. But that was kind of an interesting happening.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of people working in the office you were working in?
No, I was the only one.
Oh.
While my boss was out sailing on his sailboat, I would do the work.
Oh, yeah, we've heard of those offices.
It was neat.
So you got to do a lot then,
But
probably.
it didn't accomplish anything toward my apprenticeship time. So then I came back to Portland. I heard there might be some jobs available, and got a job with a kid I'd gone to school with. He insisted that I answer the phone. And I would say, Gordon, and he had kids there that
Yeah.
could answer the phone. I said, Gordon, I'm your high-paid employee. Why don't you have some of your younger people answer the phone? He said, well, you're the only woman, and I want a woman's voice on the phone.
That hasn't changed.
I wish he had changed his mind. At least he could have said, you are more competent in the professional field than maybe questions.
That's not Gordon.
You know Gordon, don't
Gordon
you?
who?
Well, I won't say. But
Gordon who?
we also had a little conversation about why he didn't
Doesn't
hire
let
some
you know.
more competent help. And he said, well, he says, I know that you know how little I know, but I don't want anybody else.
And this is someone someone who's at the head of a large firm now?
Probably. I've lost contact with him.
Oh. So what did you do at that office besides answer the phone?
I accumulated enough time to apply for my exam. Oh, we did things like...
Well, he gave up and went to Hawaii, and he worked for Dillingham for a while, and I don't know what happened to him after that.
Oh,
We
okay.
did warehouses and things like that.
Oh. And then after that, what
And
happened?
then after that, I opened my own
We
office.
remember Mr. Kahn, that's the way he
I
did.
didn't have my license yet, but I opened my own office because I was sick and tired of answering the phone for somebody else.
So you answered it for yourself
Yeah.
then?
And I think due to my husband's persistence, I would have given up a long time ago, except that Craig always had his hand right behind me. And he's, "Get out there, you're just as good as those ball-bearing friends."
Good support.
Well, that's very nice.
Yeah, there were a few
There
older
are-
men who
there
were
are.
very considerate.
There
Yeah.
are men who are very supportive.
Mm.
I just wish there were more.
Well, I
of
think
them.
my father might have been one. My very first job was a house for my parents.
Well, how nice.
And he said, if I don't have enough confidence in you, how can I expect others to?
It's great.
And that's a house that my husband is insisting that we restore right now. It's in Salem.
Oh.
So we're kind of in restoration process.
Obviously worth it.
So are you still working then?
I plan to not retire,
Okay.
but I have an agreement with my younger son, both of them, that they will take my keys away when I start making really terrible mistakes.
And what kind of jobs have you done since you've had your own office?
Nothing important.
Well, what's important? Nice houses? Terrible houses?
Mhm.
Any commercial stuff?
I think the one I enjoyed the most was an earth shelter in Friday Harbor, San Juan Island.
Mm.
Done a few commercial, medical building, a commercial building or two that I think are nice.
Well, didn't you do the Chamber of Commerce in
Yeah.
Oswego?
Not very big, that's just 30 by 60.
Oh.
And there isn't
Bigger
there a
isn't better.
doctor's isn't there a doctor's
Yeah, the
clinic
medical
there
center.
that's yours also?
But nothing really astounding.
Well, that's okay. And
I
I think
having
that
your own firm sounds pretty astounding to me.
yeah.
Hey, one thing I would advise all young architects is to join Toastmasters. Early on, I've been a member of the Toastmasters Club in Lake Oswego now for 10 years. At the point that I joined, I could probably hardly speak my name in public. I'm still at that point, but a little bit more confident.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, of course, the younger girls haven't had the browbeating that I had, and maybe they haven't had their voice box shattered, but to be able to express yourself and to communicate is so important in our profession. And I would certainly recommend that. But
That was a large part of my schooling.
speech,
Well,
good.
in studio,
Perfect.
speaking about what your intentions are and what you think you've done, and was always really important. And that was part of the criticism, was not only on the work that you had done, but whether or not it correlated in any way to what you said you wanted to do, which a lot of times it didn't. But there's a great deal of focus put upon how well you can speak about your project.
Well, of course, a public speaking class I think would be a good idea too.
Yeah.
I was appointed relations for the home building industry when we became members of the AIA. The minute we passed our exams, we asked for corporate membership. Well, they sort of really didn't want. They suggested we be associates, and one
Women?
of the associate members,
Women?
or junior, well, anybody.
Oh, anybody in the
So,
AIA. you
and
mean.
one of the group was, well, it was Ken Richardson, when we all passed, a group of us from Belusky's office passed by. Then he said he applied for membership in the AIA, and they said, well, you start with an associate. He says there's nothing in the AIA rules that say that, and they sort of gulped, and there wasn't, so we all went in as corporate members. So then I got assigned to the relations with the home building industry, and the architects hated them like poison. And so we were invited to design the House for the Home Builders show. And I didn't know how I was going to put this over. And there was a Doris Smith for the Civic Theater. And I went to her and she said, okay, give your talk. And I gave it. And she said, well, you take this and you put it there. And you get a funny story and you put it there. And, well, when you get to that, they'll all laugh. And then you move this to there and that to that. And so I reshuffled my cards and practiced it with her knowledge of this thing. And it just went over. Everything she said turned out. And I was scared to death. But it makes a difference in what you're saying.
Yeah.
And and you can use some professional help that way. Not just not be frightened to be out, but the organization of it and how it comes through. So a regular speech class in addition to your Toastmasters. I think I was in Toastmasters at the time, but I didn't get the information that I needed for this other thing. And so it is very helpful.
Well, there's a new chapter called the Construction Toastmasters that the Liaison AIA, CSI, AGC committee has formulated, and I hope it doesn't die. It's
Well, we'll all join it and it'll
struggling.
go.
What I was
join it.
wondering, are the clubs going now? Because the BPA 20 years ago, I belonged to a Toastmasters club and we had Toastmasters also, and they were separate, not
Well,
now.
They have to be
they're
co-ed
joined now.
Yeah.
Yeah, lately then.
Yeah.
No, but that's a very good point.
Mary Alice, Marge said your father encouraged you a fair amount. I know my father did. What did your parents think of your direction?
They were acceptable. That was, maybe they suggested it. I can't remember. My cousin married an architect, and he's a graduate of the University of Oregon. In fact, I got my first summer job with him, and so it was sort of in the family, and seemed like a good idea. At that point, University of Oregon was the ideal school in the country for architecture, with Alice Lawrence doing the politicking and leaving the running of the school to W.R.B. Wilcox. It was a very exciting place to be.
Those were the good years.
So it was a good place to go.
Was the years.
Yeah. Was that Alice or Ellis?
Ellis.
Ellis.
Ellis F. Lawrence, is that?
Never
Oh, the dean of the School of Architecture was Ellis F. Lawrence.
He's
There's Lawrence Hall.
yeah, he's
Oh,
the
yeah.
one that the main building used to be the only building
Yeah.
that was the
I've
School
never
of Architecture.
been there.
I've never been there. Well, the building itself. Yes,
Yes, you're in the
man's
Lawrence house, by the way. So
Oh, okay.
Was this design?
this house, yes. So
Oh, I know there's Lawrence Hall, and we went for the state board to Eugene to have the examination in Lawrence Hall. On the campus, the architectural building.
Yeah.
It's named by him,
Lawrence Hall, yes.
after him.
I hate to be so persistent, but I'm going to be persistent. I got 2 out of 3. What did your parents think of your interest?
They were not here.
Mm.
The thing is, I would have studied art, but I grew up in a different part of the world.
Where was that, Lydia?
I'm Latvian.
Latvian. I knew that, but I'd forgotten it.
They're what?
Latvian.
Yeah. And the exception was an artist. He's somewhere in the middle, sitting there with his painting or something. It was not a decent occupation.
Oh, really?
You certainly couldn't make a
I
living at
come
it.
from an old farm family, and everybody had strong teacher or doctor or somebody who really does something that was
Significant.
yes,
Important.
but not an artist or architect. But I went through 3 years of astronomy at the university.
Astronomy?
Yes.
Neat.
Math and astronomy.
Mhm.
Before I switched over to architecture Then I went to 4 years of art teacher in Germany. I came here, I got 2 years credit at IIT.
What school in Germany?
Baltic University. We had this university near Hamburg for these 3 Baltic nations, Estonians, Latvians, Lithuanians. And I studied at IIT when Mies was the head of the school. And the late Mies, the late Ludwig von Hilbershammer was the head of my counselor at the graduate school. I went masters in city and regional planning. And everybody at IIT whom I can name now, all are the late Peter Hans, the late Speyer, the late Brenner. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But it was only in the 50s, but
Yeah.
they were, 3 of them came from Bauhaus. Mies, Hilbershammer and Peter Hans. They were the original.
Peter Behrens?
Peter Hans.
Oh.
Yeah. He's gone. He was, I had visual training with him.
What, do you have a bibliography with this kind of information on it?
Resume.
Biographical
Do you?
information.
I didn't put
Well,
Anything.
put it down and give
She,
it to
she
Ken.
had somebody nudge her earlier and do a the tape is
Oh,
in here, a whole
yeah, the
interview.
tape. I'm not
so
gonna leave this
so
with
Yeah.
you.
Marge has a head start, which we're going to take advantage of. But it would be really nice to have this biographical information for all of the women on our
Yeah,
list, so
some
that
of
we
this
can
I'm gonna keep.
gradually bring this together.
the time when I was in the
Yes.
undergraduate school at IIT was the time when Mies was working on Seagram's building.
Doesn't Hannah Jane
Yeah,
have all
we
of
had
that?
to help on the model, on the details.
Yeah, she sent you one
Learn
too,
some
didn't she?
changes.
Is that why God is in the details?
This is
'Cause you got
Hannah
the help on
Jane.
them, huh?
Yes.
No,
Doesn't she have,
as
how many
students,
people
we
does
just
she
Yeah.
have
help out
biographies
some
of?
shapes and
Yeah,
Does
how
she?
it's so
How special.
glued together.
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And after, oh yeah, Liver House was under construction
Uh-huh.
then too. That
She didn't
was
quite
made
cover the
by
waterfront.
SOM.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the
Then
4
I-
of us in Portland were you, Marge Wintermute, that's Seattle.
Okay.
That's the 40s. 50s is Sue Owen and Jane Hastings.
I always got some letters
So
from
there's a bunch of
Hastings, but I
information
never
in here
answered it.
on Ariel
I'm
too.
too
Yeah,
much
well,
involved
you're
with many other things.
You're
No,
on the
yeah.
list. She's got a lot of
Go for
information
a
on
meeting
you
or
here
something,
too.
but
Yeah.
I'm not contributing anything.
All right, this was a thesis.
Let's see.
This is her thesis, yes.
Whose thesis? What's her name in Washington?
Hannah J.
Yeah.
You and I and who else in
Okay.
Portland?
Marge Wintermute, and that's it.
Jane
Is that
Hastings
right?
used to send me all the information every time, but I never responded because I just felt that I'm not contributing to the whole thing and I don't have that much time. I'm too much involved in everything
Yeah,
else.
there's a
And
little, gee, several pages, Mary Alice.
whose thesis is that?
Yay!
That's about you.
Oh, you're
Oh.
kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't you look at them when she sent you a copy?
I guess I did. I have one someplace.
She
but
had it,
that's all
but
right.
she'll never find it.
Oh, good. So, Marge, when you were raising your kids, did you work full time at the same time, or
Uh-huh. Well, I don't know if you'd call it full time. That's why.
as
Cindy
full
has
as
a
you can
personal
possibly?
interest in this
That's why I
question.
opened my own office at my husband's insistence, because then I would be free to come and go as I needed.
Did you work in your own home?
No. Well, I tried that for 2 months. Forget it.
Yeah. What about you? Did you have a family?
Yes, we have one daughter, but that came in our house when she was 10.
I don't see how women
Now, what do
do
you
it.
mean?
I
You
couldn't
adopted
have.
her? Oh.
I was 3
Well,
when
then
I was
you-
in school and when he was, so
Mm-hmm.
she was growing somewhere else.
But my husband and I had an arrangement. He said that he would do the, I don't know, the cooking or cleaning or something, if I would take the boys to their ball games, because he's not at all interested in
Ooh.
athletics.
Yes.
And I am. And I did.
Uh-huh.
And it worked out very well.
What you do in athletics?
Hmm?
How?
What did I do?
Yeah.
I hauled the team around and I kept score.
No, I mean yourself.
I always wanted to be on the team, but I couldn't play because I was a woman.
Is that right? Oh, Marge, you really
But you know what I learned with my boys? That bigotry and prejudice is not all for women and minorities. My oldest boy never played. I took him to game after game after game. He was on the team, but they always called on the big husky guys who could hit the ball or who appeared to be able to hit the ball to play. He never played. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah, my husband went through that with Little League and didn't want our kids to be in Little League because of it, but as it turns out, the rules have changed now and everybody has to play every game.
Oh, my daughter-in-law, this same son, married a gal who is the athletic director of the high school in Alaska where they live. And her father is known as the town jock in Kodiak. But he was the basketball coach, or the high school coach. And she said that even then, and maybe because she was interested in sports, but everybody played, boys, girls, everybody.
Yeah.
He's just, you walk through the town with that man and he's just, hi Mr. Floyd, hi Mr. Floyd. Everybody's running in there. He's Santa Claus.
Yeah. So, Mary Alice, did you have a family?
No.
No.
And I don't understand how people can have a family and have a profession.
Men
It's
do it all the
mind-boggling to me that the women that can do it.
Yeah.
Well, she has, what is it when it's somebody else's family? My boys,
Step families.
they've stayed here with her. No, there's
Yes,
another
I know,
word
but
in
I never had any
Godparents.
responsibility for any family. So, when I was working, it was a full-time job. I couldn't.
It is a
I couldn't have
full-time
done it.
job.
I don't know how women do.
They don't.
I don't know how.
They go nuts. It keeps you from being overweight, whatever.
I don't know how single women do. I mean,
Yeah.
single parents would just be.
Oh yeah.
If Craig hadn't been helping, I wouldn't.
It's
I've
great.
done a few things I have.
Full of
done.
admiration when they do, but I do think that women have gotten in the position where it's practically impossible for them to do what people seem to think that they ought to be able to do. I mean, a full-time career and a full-time homemaker, it just does,
I think it's a myth. It's a
Well,
well-rehearsed
and-
myth.
the people that try to do it, and it's just, it's tough.
Yeah.
I hope they live through it.
Somebody's written a book about that that's getting quite popular now. It's called The Second Shift.
Yeah.
Heard of that? And it's about the fact that if you're a woman and you have a family, whether it's just a husband or a husband plus children, that you have 2 8-hour shifts.
Right.
You have the job, and then you have 8 hours worth of
Yes,
whatever
everybody,
else.
yes, expects you to come home and cook,
Yeah.
and so on and so
it-
forth.
So it's the
Yeah.
second shift.
Yeah,
It's
well,
all
I-
yours.
Yeah. Yeah, well, of course I do all the cooking and stuff because I only work part-time.
At all. Yes, of course. The thing
Or
is,
is it that you only work part-time because you do all of the...
Yes and no.
which is a part-time job.
I think they all kind of get short shrift.
Well, early in my marriage, I would say late marriage, except we're still married. But it was a late marriage. My husband asked me if I would like for him to do the shopping.
Ooh, what a question.
Like to have him do the shopping?
Still does the shopping.
Good.
Oh,
I hate shopping.
Well, that's what I pretty much
What
have
I
that
want to
arrangement.
know is how you found this Paragon. Give me the formula. I've been looking for one
Well, I
like
met him at
that.
the University of Oregon. I was the only woman in the School of Architecture. He was the only man in the interior department.
There you
Only
go.
one
was
who-
sitting in
only
his
one
speech.
who what?
He was the only man in the interior school.
Oh,
Wow.
And he was sitting at this table with all these women around him.
and you
What a
won.
drip. What a drip. Oh, well, we were engaged 3 times, but I just could not bring myself.
doing?
He's retired and then just having a ball with pottery. But that's
Oh,
not what we're here
nice.
to talk about.
That's okay. We can digress a little.
But I think you're supposed to call it ceramics.
Ceramics.
Yeah, that's the art form. Yes.
Yeah,
He's having a ball with
not just
ceramics.
pots, but ceramics.
And I didn't realize it. We digress a little into ceramics, but I didn't realize it was such a new art field.
What's he doing? This is fucking exhibits or stuff.
Well, he went to Schmagda Community College, and he's going to Bush House Art
Yeah, I know where that
Department now, and kind of keeps their studio open certain nights a week for others to come in and work.
he
And
has home studio.
basically,
Does he have a studio at home?
oh, he has a kill, but it isn't hooked up yet. And
Electric?
he has a wheel. It's electric, and so it's kind of.
Okay.
That's old-fashioned. Doesn't keep your muscles
But
working.
when we were in LA, he taught pottery, one ceramic.
I had a teacher.
At Barnsdall one winter term, and had taken it at the University of Oregon. But in reading, which I do at his insistence, he'll put a magazine out and I'll read this article. But it was really only in the late 40s and 50s that ceramics came into its own. Before that, it was a pretty utilitarian,
Well, glass is like that too, I think.
Yeah.
I suppose so.
Oh, it's actually digressing.
More or less, today, I think the whole concept of the ceramics is something that you pour in the molds. Yeah, yes, that's true. And the clay work, that is cotton. That can be or handmade, sculpt, hand built.
Where are you working now?
I work downtown at Ballister and Coral. And
At where?
Ballister and Coral Architects. It's a very small firm. There's about 4.5 people in it.
4.5.
Where's the office?
It's at the corner of Aldway and Broadway. Alder and Broadway.
It's in the Alderway building. It's the same building with the Oregon Symphony office.
Oh, the Alderway building.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah,
It
there-
used to be Pantages Theater.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
It's not catty corner in the.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, their claim to fame are the Machismo Mouses. The,
Well, I know
the
where
restaurants.
it is. No. Well, I know the Alderway building.
Yeah.
So today, did they give you time off? Or?
No, I didn't even tell them I was coming here. I said I was walking out the door and I said I might be a little late from lunch. They don't care. They don't care. I work later or I come in early all the time. It's very flexible.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't want you put in jeopardy.
Oh, no, they need me too much.
All right, that's good.
That, and that's the truth too.
Yes.
They need a lot.
Yeah.
What do you have on the board?
This was one of
Well, let's see.
the walls.
Right now, I'm working on a design for a house that's not too far from here. It's on Greenleaf Court. And
I didn't know there was any space in there.
yeah, it's an addition to a house
Oh, and
that was
I know.
built in 1910. It's a 2,000 square foot addition to a house that's
But
1,000
then you know
square
what's
feet.
interesting.
And
Well,
I did a lot of the design, most of the
It's all
design
gone.
work. And we just did a presentation to the clients yesterday,
And it
and I'm building a model of it
So
today.
you really get a chance to get with it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Women in
I've-
Well, that's the advantage of a small office.
It is. It really is. I mean, and it's because it's small, and also because my bosses are lazy. They let me do a lot of work. that's how it works. And I can
they want copies of these too.
I have some presentation skills, so they let me do a lot of the design work just because I can kind of draw well.
Yeah.
They're just lazy, so I get to do a lot. It's nice.
Or you can draw well.
Yeah.
That's eyes closed, I don't know.
These are good
Very,
pictures.
very good.
Or then a professional BPA photographer took them.
Women in Federal Service.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a big organization now.
Yeah.
that was that.
They're
I
actually
think
a
that was
majority,
the
aren't
first
they?
seminar.
The
It
county
should, it
secretary.
should be men in federal service now. They're a dying breed.
If we get enough women in Federal Service, and maybe the government will finally start to function the way it's supposed to.
Uh-huh.
You wrote in that letter that we should bring some
Can
Yeah.
the pictures and
Can we photocopy some of these?
Oh yeah, all we have to do is take them all to the AIA and photocopy.
Yeah. I hate to.
Yeah, I know.
She
I
won't
don't
let-
know.
She won't let us.
I didn't know even that this file until yesterday.
Well, we'll
And
meet
this
again,
morning,
won't we?
I dug it up.
Well, good for you.
I,
like to.
I knew I
tried
had
to get
something.
one.
Didn't I tell you
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know it?
Wouldn't you trust her to take some
Can
copies
we,
for
No.
even if we take you with us to a photocopy machine,
Yeah,
so we can
yeah,
copy
yeah,
some of
yeah,
those?
yeah.
Great.
Because I had lost it already. It was under my cameras and all the stuff where I placed the
Yeah,
photography.
I fouled up. I was going to bring a camera to take a picture of us this afternoon. Did somebody thank you?
Okay,
Brain
I need mug
I
shots
get
here.
mine in
Just
the car, but
look pleasant.
oh, this is
One thing that we were talking about.
Would
Don't
you
give
like
any
to have the
warnings.
Friends of the Columbia Gorge?
One thing that we were
All
talking
done,
about,
that's nice.
Yeah.
get her legs, will you?
older man.
I was admiring your legs.
Yeah.
No, really. How old are you? I mean, my legs have more cellulite on them than you have.
Well, I'll tell you, I was walking.
That's a model.
Is this still on?
Yes, it is.
That's a model.
We can turn it off if you want to be off the record here.
Well, yes.
That specification. And
Crook?
Yeah.
John Crook?
yeah, he was working for EK&K. John was moody.
Moody?
Yeah. At that time, at least.
Moody?
One day, you couldn't tell what he would be next to do.
Oh.
Yes.
I think
Maybe he had some.
That's probably
We're
the
not
most
close.
polite
That's personal.
assessment I've heard of him.
And what?
I said that's the most polite assessment I've heard of
Oh.
John Crook.
I don't know. I was just 1 year there. And George Whittier, he was a fine man. He is in, he lives in King City, but he's maybe 20 years older than I am. Nobody knows George Whittier.
Oh, George Whittier, yes.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him in years.
yeah. He was the job, no, not the job.
It was
but
Whittier and Fritsch originally.
Yes, but then he was working for EK&K when I was there, 1959. George is in King City. I haven't seen him maybe 10, 15 years or longer even. But he was really a good support.
It helps to have,
He is somebody whom you
Somebody.
can trust.
yeah, somebody who you can trust, and
Yes.
there are not that many of them.
No.
I don't find that to be true.
Good.
Not
What?
yet, anyway.
I
I'm
hope
glad
you-
you
I hope you continue to have that experience, but I
I
agree with
always,
Lydia.
I always did need somebody whom I can really lean upon, who will believe me or trust me.
Yeah.
I
You're self-sufficient.
I am self-sufficient
No,
compared to my bosses.
Yes, but they kick you out of the office. I was working 4 years for SOM in Chicago. I could go when I wanted there, punch in my card. I was trusted and I was really given the best recommendations. Wherever I go, anytime I could go back there. I came to Portland. I was 3 months with SOM.
Out the door.
Yes.
Ah.
And that was simply the men's egoism.
Yeah.
Some people, and the problem was that I came from Chicago. I just came out from the graduate school. The way I was introduced in the office, she has done this and she has done that. When I graduated from the graduate school, I had a special attention in Chicago because they always, at the museum, they always give one presentation on the graduate student. I was the one chosen.
Oh.
And then they mentioned everything what I have achieved in Chicago. And I was introduced around the office.
Yeah.
You know,
Name,
So-
address, and phone
Yeah.
number.
We need that kind of list.
Yeah.
next day,
Is
Who
that in
are
your
you?
file?
Yeah.
What?
Is that in your file?
no,
That's
I don't have anything. I just, that's my memory. In 1959, when I came from Chicago here,
Yeah.
I was 3 months with SOM. Then they let some people go. There were, I think, 4 of us. But they didn't have to let me go,
Right.
just because. The Hilton Hotel was bid. Was not bid then. Was bid next year, I think. But then they lost some projects and they had really a possibility to let some people go. Then I went to K&K, and it was a nice place, but after a year, from 30-some people in the office, there were only 16 left. Because when they were done with
Nothing changes.
That's the way they go.
at Christmas time, they said, "Oh, we have such good group here. We like all of our people, and the business is so good." Came next August,
Yeah. I remember that.
but that's the only place where I haven't seen that was the Federal Garden.
Is that your
That's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That. Want me to repeat that?
No.
Oh, okay. It said that,
No,
that
we're
there were
before.
cycles where women found openings and they would go through and do okay, and they would get encouragement and things would work out. They'd pass exams, get licenses, and so forth and so on. And then there'd be a trough where it was like a backlash, and it'd be like maybe 10 years of good times, and then
Yeah, I
maybe 10 of
remember hearing
bad, and then back to the good, and then back to the bad, and that they had charted at least 3 or 4 of these loops, and
Yeah.
that your timing was what your experience was going to be. If you came through at a good time, you'd make it, and if you came through at a bad time, why?
Spent 10 years getting licensed.
You'd spend 10 years getting licensed, and that they didn't. It wasn't all way back when. It was a continuing cycle, and that maybe the late 30s, early 40s were a good time. Late 40s, early 50s, a bad time.
Therefore, we
And
must
it-
make sure that it doesn't happen in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
Or that
and
it
we're-
happened already during the 80s and that the 90s are going
It's
to be
still
fine.
well,
Oh.
no. It's
We don't
I
know.
think
It happened in the 80s?
I don't know.
I think it's starting to happen in the 80s, and I think I see signs of bad stuff in the 90s. That's what worries me. I see right now a downhill,
You do.
and that worries me.
In the
Tim retired.
in
Is
the
that
early
right? Well-
60s, when I was taking state
I
board
couldn't go anywhere anyway.
for the first time, I tell you my experience.
When was that, Liz?
Early 60s, I don't know, 63, 64 could be. And a prominent architect did prepare the structural. And since I was working for SOM for about 4 years on the structural, and I felt quite safe and secure. And I finished it fast and just handed in. I got, I think, something 50 some points on the structural. Of course, I inquired. And I went back and met this man with the test.
Mm-hmm.
And we went one by one. I think he didn't do the checking himself. Somebody did after his notes. And I got 5 points more there, 10 points more here, 20 points more there. I came up into 90s.
Wow.
What he said, if you are that good, you can come back again.
Uh,
That was the
wow.
end. That he is still around.
Probably the guy that was on the Fort Manhattan.
Well, they die eventually.
Yeah.
I got a story.
And I had to go back.
There's a lot of these stories, and these stories are worth collecting. The really awful ones, the really funny ones, and
I got
maybe
a
a
funny
couple
one.
good ones.
You are that good, you can come back
Oh,
again.
excuse me.
Yeah. So what's your other story?
Well, this has to do with school. And I remember I was the only woman in my class.
Right.
And I was a structural major. That was something they started in the 50s. And I went into this class first day, and we had this engineer professor from Cooper Union, and he was good. He was really good. He had the class in one of those rooms where the seats go up as you go back, but the door's at the front.
Mhm.
So I sneaked in and I sat down in the front seat. And probably everybody else was there. Anyway, here I was up in the front seat all alone. And he draws this force diagram on the blackboard, and he has certain reactions up and certain loads down and so on. And then he has one reaction that isn't identified. We gave values to all the other forces, and he said, I want you to tell me whether you think this force should be acting up or down. And he said, those who think it should be acting up, raise their hands. I raised my hand. Those who think it should be acting down, raise their hands. And I could tell he had a funny look on his face, just absolutely incredible. He said, let's do that again. He said, how many of you think this force should be acting? He went through the whole problem. I put my hand up. And how many think it should be acting down? And he said, well, I tell you, this is a first. He says, the first time in my life I've ever seen one woman right and 18 men wrong.
Oh, oh my goodness, what a
But you
girl.
know, I was in front.
So
And
you
they
couldn't
could all,
tell what
they
was
knew
happening.
I had to be wrong, so they
Right.
held it.
That's
They-
great.
It's funny.
They can raise their hands.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay, you are wrong. Okay.
You mean they couldn't think for themselves?
And then the second funniest story is that in my final year, we had a course called Indeterminate Structures. You have to have calculus in order to take this, but the professor who taught this course had never had calculus. It was such a joke. He gave us a problem at the beginning of the year, which was, as it turned out, our final problem. We worked all year on that problem and never did solve it. We all got a B for the course. This was at the University of Oregon. Oh, they got rid of this young man from Cooper Union.
Huh.
So
I don't
the
know whether these 18 guys had anything to do with that.
Does somebody know Steve Tang at the University of Oregon? Steve Tang.
I know who he is. I missed out on having him for a teacher, but he was there. He was teaching when I was there.
Who is this?
Steve Tang, T-A-N-G.
I suspect that he is my supervisor from SOM from Chicago.
Oh, really?
I think he was Chinese.
He came west.
He came for the graduate work in 1939 or 40, and he stayed after the revolution and everything. And he was working for SOM, and I think he was my supervisor. What I have heard about, I haven't met him. It's 40 years since.
Yeah, he was there when I was at school, but I never had him for a teacher. Mary Alice, have you got any funny stories like that?
Any funny story? No, I.
Probably have 6 dozen of them, but since we put you on the spot, they probably.
No, I don't. I wasn't that smart to have a funny story like that. If I think of one, I'll let you know.
Then you have to go back to your Toastmasters. You always have to tell a joke before the opening of your long speech or something.
Well, that happened to be the advice at this particular point in time. The idea is to get people's, it doesn't have to be a joke, something to get attention.
Relax.
And so,
Other than dropping your notes all over the.
well, that does it too.
Yeah, you don't have to practice that one.
Well, I'm going to need to go. My babysitter leaves in 20 minutes.
2:46.
I have to be back to Mom.
should probably do some work today. Maybe.
Yeah. This has been really interesting and wonderful, and
Well, it's unique.
glad we could get together.
It's a start.
All right.
Just a
But
start.
same time next month.
Oh,
Is that
where
it?
is the sheet where you all signed? I like to know the names of the people whom I meet.
Oh, we need a sign-up sheet. Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
Well, we wrote our names down in your roster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not in
You're
mine.
not registered.
I am registered.
Oh, you are? Well,
Yes, I've been registered, but
2000,
not
yeah?
since 1986. I'm not on the 86 roster.
I see. Oh, well,
2000
that's-
architects.
so now you-
have 2000 number now.
now you are.
Let me check my number. Let me check.
Yeah, now you are.
Yeah. I wasn't in Oregon in
What number you
1986.
have? You read it for me.
My registration number? 881.
I know.
No, that's
I
not it.
have
And
1056.
you are...
And what number are you?
1056.
Oh, I got in
1056?
a great year.
Should have been 1066.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
two
It's
years
the only
after
number I
me.
can remember.
And I'm 2965.
29.
2965.
That's what I
What
figured.
did I do with it?
So,
Almost 3,000.
well, I'm sure there are by now because this was
Yeah.
1989 that I did that.
Okay.
I have 1056. I suppose. Look up.
I
Oh,
don't know. But my
Yeah,
Tennessee
yeah, yeah.
license number, now that's another one. That's pretty funny. There aren't that
Yeah,
many
yeah,
more in
it's all-
Tennessee.
Yeah.
oh, here. No, it's in there. I think you are 10 something.
1056.
No, there's 13,000 in Tennessee. It's
13,000? And there's only 3,000 here?
Yeah. Well, Tennessee's,
Well, they've had more years to.
This is true, but still, it seems.
yeah.
Although,
And there are more people in Tennessee than there are in Oregon. The whole state is populated.
yeah.
It's such a little
True.
state, though.
It's not little.
Is it
680 miles
Tennessee?
across. One end from
How
Memphis
about
to
south of
Virginia.
Boston?
Yeah, but it ain't square like Oregon.
Yeah, I know. But there isn't a
I
big
know
desert in the
because
middle
they're
either.
out
What's
there.
north to south? How many? Couple hundred?
Benny
Uh,
Di Benedetto.
Let's see, it takes 3
PA,
hours,
isn't
so it'd
it?
be
PAL.
about 180.
180.
Oh, it's on the other page.
Probably.
You're on the front